Hi, welcome to Vocabulary Wednesdays, and my name is Chris with Magoosh, and today's theme is out of the ordinary. Now, I could take that in so many directions. Well, what I'm alluding to is the last 2 days in California. What happened? Well, obviously, if you live in Northern California, where I live, you may know what I'm talking about. It rained. It rained quite a bit, especially yesterday, which is very surprising for the end of June. Now, I know people who live in the rest of the world, maybe it's monsooning right now in June, so I apologize for usually having sunny weather and complaining about it. But I'm not necessarily complaining about the fact that it rained, but showing or saying how unprecedented, which is a word I'll come to in a minute, rain this late in June in California is. In fact, typically, I don't know, probably lived here most of my life and never saw it. So I thought of a bunch of words meaning not typical or out of the ordinary. And the first word, I'm just going to show you a different board, is this word, anomaly. An anomaly is something that isn't typical, isn't common. It's anomalous would be the adjective. So obviously rain in California in late June is highly anomalous or is an anomaly. If you are doing the GRE and you've been getting around 150, 155 on the math and verbal section, and suddenly you walk into the test and get 165 on those sections, that would be anomalous. It's not what is expected. Usually people do about the same as they do in their practice tests. Aberration, the next word. An aberration is actually very similar to an anomaly, but there's a slight negative connotation. This is something that deviates or is out of the ordinary in a bad way. So I don't care much for rain, and so for me the rain was an aberration, an unwelcome occurrence. I didn't like having to wade through puddles in my summer wear. So again, anything that's out of the ordinary in an unpleasant or unwelcome way is an aberration. And the adjective form aberration is aberrant, which is actually a word in one of my mnemonics videos, if you remember. Okay, next word, incongruous. Doesn't mean out of the ordinary, but it shows that two things don't match up. So I was traipsing about in my summer gear the other day, and it was incongruous to see me wearing shorts and a t-shirt when it was raining. So if two things don't match up, in this case, rain and people wearing summer wear, then that would be an incongruous sight. Notice congruous, think of congruent angles. They agree, they go together. So something that's the opposite, doesn't agree, doesn't match up, is incongruous. And finally, again, something out of the ordinary, but slightly, a little bit different, is unprecedented. What this word means is nothing like it has happened before. There's no standard to say, this is how much rain you get, for instance. So let's say that since weather records were being kept, I believe it's 1885, at least in the U.S., if at no time has Northern California ever had rain in the last week of June, then it would be unprecedented. However, if 30 years ago it happened, then I could say, well, while rain in June, late June in California, is highly anomalous, it's not unprecedented because it happened before. And unprecedented, of course, can refer to any occurrence. And so if you are getting 150 on your GRE practice scores and you walk into the test and get a perfect 170, I'm pretty sure that's unprecedented, meaning no students done that. But maybe you'll be the first. I'll see you next week. In the meantime, check us out at gre.magoosh.com.